No, I was having problems. Hello, how's everyone doing?
Conference recording started.
Oh, okay, good.
Greetings.
Greetings, brother.
Greetings. Okay, we're getting ready to get started. 12 after 5. Tonight is November 14th. Tonight's November 14th, 2021. This is the UNIA-ACL Division 421 mass meeting. It's our first mass meeting of November. Tonight's topic will be a speech delivered by Marcus Garvey on November 25th, 1925. The title of the speech is Principles of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Before we go into the topic, we'll do the roll call, and then we'll go into the pledge. So, for the roll call on Zoom, you have myself, Brother John, member number 306, President of Division 421. We have member 172, Brother Dr. Shams out of New York. We have Ross Marvin, member number 2. Yes. Former president, always be my president, and current treasurer, Division 421. Member number 390, first vice president, Brother Macias, here in Atlanta. Brother Art in Virginia, CDPM member, and Malik. We have member 177, I believe, Sister Tania, our second lady vice president in Dallas, Texas. Then on the conference line, we have CDPM member 2,849 out of Long Beach, Brother Nathaniel. U.N.I.A member 241 in Chattanooga, Brother Charles. U.N.I.A member 292 in Virginia as well, our Division 421 chaplain, Chaplain Mitchell. And U.N.I.A member 324 here in Georgia, Atlanta, Brother Amun Ma'at of the Sabian community. And we also just joined our second male vice president, U.N.I.A member 173, Division 421, Dr. Kwanzaa. So total, counting 12 right now on the call. Sister Tania, President Ross Marvin, did you have any comments or anything that you wanted to share with family before we go into the pledge?
No. Just give me like 5 minutes because I was trying to hurry up and get some things finished. But
did you want to read? Did you want to read? Were you gonna read?
Yeah, I'm gonna read, but I need like about 5 to 10 minutes to get some things situated on this end. And then I'll be on. Okay.
No problem. President Ross Marvin, you doing all right? 10-4, Brother Macias. Well, I don't have it, Brother Macias. You got the book because I don't have the play version. I don't have Philosophies and Opinions digital, personally. All right. So we'll go into the pledge. If you will repeat after me, black fist in the air. Find a red, black, and green flag. We'll picture one in your mind. Repeat after me. I commit my body, mind, and spirit.
I commit my body, mind, and spirit
to the protection, defense, and security.
To the protection, defense, and security
of the red, the black, and the green.
Of the red, black, and green.
I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa.
I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa.
and the liberation of her scattered Black children.
and the liberation
of her scattered Black children.
I accept for myself and my descendants
I accept
I accept for myself, my descendants,
the teachings of universal African nationalism,
the teachings
teachings of universal African nationalism,
and I promise that our children will be instilled
and I
and I promise that our children will be instilled
with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people,
with the purpose
and knowledge of themselves as African people,
in order that the cause of our struggle
in order
that the cause of our struggle
will neither falter nor fail
will neither
falter nor fail
until all Black people are free and united
until all Black people are free and united
through one God,
through one
with
God,
one God,
one aim,
one
one
aim,
aim,
one destiny.
one destiny.
one destiny.
Race first.
Faith first.
Race first.
Race first. Okay. Thank you, family. So we'll go ahead and, Brother Macius, are you ready? We'll start and then let Sister Tania jump in. Checking. Okay, see you. We got it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the book.
Okay.
The pen.
You all right? You in Philly?
I am. Yep, I am.
Yeah, we gotta get some more book. We gotta get some more book.
Will you be able to put it on the screen? Because I can't access my message to the people. Like my computer is old. It won't.
Let me see. I don't think I have this one digital. Well, it's not mentioned to the people. It's philosophy and opinion.
Okay.
Oh, you said philosophies and opinions?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I thought you said
You have this? All right. Well, I'm gonna start. I don't have it yet. I don't have it to share and show as I read it. But I think it'll be all right. They didn't have it to follow along when Garvey first read it either, so we gotta, it'll be all right. Okay. So, please mute your line. I'll mute your line. Thank you. Do I have to mute it? Bear with me.
Okay. You say it's page 93. Hello?
Yeah, page 93 in volume 2.
Okay. Okay. So it goes to, let me make sure. Where do it stop at? You seen?
100. Yeah, it stops at 100.
Okay, I see. All right. Says the principal of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, speech delivered at Liberty Hall, New York City, USA, November 25th, 1922. Over 5 years ago, the Universal Negro Improvement Association placed itself before the world as the movement through which new and rising Negro would give expression of his feelings. This association adopts an attitude not of hostility to other races and people of the world, but an attitude of self-respect of manhood rights on behalf of 400,000 Negroes of the world. I'm sorry, 400 million. We represent peace and harmony of love, human sympathy, human rights, and human justice. And that is why we fight so much. Wheresoever human rights are denied to any group, wheresoever justice is denied to any group, there the UNIA finds a cause. And at this time among the people of the world, the group that suffers most from injustice, the group that is denied most of those rights that belong to our humanity, is the Black group of 400 million. Because of that injustice, because of that denial of our rights, we go forth under the leadership of the one who is always on the side of right to fight the common cause of humanity, to fight as we fought in the Revolutionary War, as we fought in the Civil War, as we fought in the Spanish-American War, and as we fought in the war between 1914 through 18 on the battle plains of France and Flanders, as we fought up the heights of Mesopotamia. Even so, under the leadership of the UNIA, we are marshaling the 400 million Negroes of the world to fight for the emancipation of the race and of the redemption of the country of our fathers. We represent a new line of thought among Negroes, whether you call it advanced thought or reactionary thought, I do not care. If it is reactionary for people to seek independence in government, then we are reactionary. If it is advanced thought for people to seek liberty and freedom, then we represent the advanced school of thought among Negroes of this country. We of the UNIA believe that what is good for the other fellow is good for us. If government is something that is worthwhile, if government is something that is appreciable and helpful and protective to others, we also want to experiment in government. We do not mean a government that will make us citizens without rights or subjects without consideration. We mean the kind of government that will place our race in control, even as other races are in control of their own governments. That does not suggest anything that is unreasonable. It was not unreasonable for George Washington, the great hero and father of the country, to have fought for the freedom of America, given to us this great republic and this great democracy. It was not unreasonable for the liberals of France to have fought against the monarchy to give to the world French democracy and French republicanism. It was no unrighteous cause that led Tolstoy to sound the call of liberty in Russia, which has ended in giving to the world the social democracy of Russia, an experiment that will probably prove to be a boon and a blessing to mankind. If it was not an unrighteous cause that led Washington to fight for the independence of this country and led the liberals of France to establish the republic, it is therefore not unrighteous cause for the UNIA to lead 400 million Negroes all over the world to fight for the liberation of our country. Therefore, the UNIA is not advocating the cause of church building, because we have sufficiently large number of churches among us to minister to the spiritual needs of the people. And we are not going to compete with those who are engaged in so splendid a work. We are not engaged in building any new social institutions and YMCAs or YWCAs because there are enough social workers engaged in those praiseworthy efforts. We are not engaged in politics because we have enough local politicians, Democrats, socialists, Soviets, etc., and the political situation is well taken care of. We are not engaged in domestic politics, in church building, or in social uplift work, but we are engaged in nation building. Okay, this next part is labeled misrepresentations. In advocating the principles of this association, we find we have been very much misunderstood and very much misrepresented by men from within our own race, as well as others from without. Any reform movement that seeks to bring about changes for the benefit of humanity is bound to be misrepresented by those who have always taken it upon themselves to administer to and lead the unfortunate and to direct those who may be placed under temporary disadvantages. It has been so in all other movements, whether social or political, hence those of the Universal Negro Improvement Association who lead do not feel in any way embarrassed about this misrepresentation, about this misunderstanding. As far as the aims and objectives of the Universal Negro Improvement Association go, but those who probably would have taken kindly notice of this great movement have been led to believe that this movement seeks not to develop the good within the race, but to give expression to that which is most destructive and most harmful to society and to government. One second, I need to plug my phone up. I get disconnected. Okay. I desire to remove the misunderstandings that have been created in the minds of millions of people throughout the world and their relationship to the organization. The Universal Negro Improvement Association stands for the Bigger Brotherhood Improvement Association. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start over. The Universal Negro Improvement Association stands for the Bigger Brotherhood. The Universal Negro Improvement. What is going on? Hold up.
Go ahead, you got it.
Hold up. I gotta take my bookmark because I don't keep getting lost. Okay. Next. Okay. The Universal Negro Improvement Association stands for human rights, not only for Negroes, but for all races. The Universal Negro Improvement Association believes in the rights of not only Black race, but the white race, yellow race, and the brown race. The Universal Negro Improvement Association believes that the white man has as much as a right to be considered. The yellow man has as much right to be considered. The brown man has as much right to be considered, as well as the Black man of Africa. In view of the fact that the Black man of Africa has contributed as much to the world as the white man of Europe and the brown and yellow man of Asia, we of the Universal Negro Improvement Association demand that the white, yellow, brown races give to the Black man his place in the civilization of the world. We ask for nothing more than the rights of 400,000 Negroes. We are not seeking, as I said before, to destroy or disrupt the society or the government of other races, but we are determined that 400 million of us shall unite ourselves to free our motherland from the grasp of the invader. We of the Universal Negro Association are determined to unite 400 million Negroes for their own industrial, political, social, and religious emancipation. We of the Universal Negro Improvement Association are determined to unite the 400 million Negroes of the world to give expression to their own feelings. We are determined to unite the 400 million Negroes of the world for the purpose of building a civilization of their own. And in that effort, we desire to bring together the 15 million of the United States, the 108 million in Asia, the West Indies and Central America, and 200 million in Africa. We're looking towards political freedom on the continent of Africa, the land of our fathers. Okay, the next is not seeking a government within a government. The Universal Negro Improvement Association is not seeking to build up another government within the bounds or borders of the United States of America. The Universal Negro Improvement Association is not seeking to disrupt any organized system of government, but the association is determined to bring Negroes together for the building up of a nation of their own. And why? Because we have been forced to it. We have been forced to it throughout the world, not only in America, not only in Europe, not only in British Empire, but wheresoever the Black man happens to find himself, he has been forced to do for himself. To talk about government is a little more than some of our people can appreciate just at this time. The average man does not think that way just because he finds himself a citizen or a subject of some country. He seems to say, why should there be a need for any other government? We are French, English, or American. But we of the UNIA have studied seriously this question of nationality among Negroes, this American nationality, this British nationality, this French, Italian, or Spanish nationality, and have discovered that it counts for naught when the nationality comes in conflict with the racial idealism of the group that rules. When our interests clash with those of the ruling faction, then we find that we have absolutely no rights. In time of peace, when everything is all right, Negroes have a hard time wherever we go, whereversoever we find ourselves getting those rights that belong to us and coming with others whom we claim as fellow citizens. Getting that consideration that should be ours by right of constitution, by right of law, but in the time of trouble, they make us all partners in the cause, as happened in the last war, when we were partners, whether British, French, or American Negroes. And we were told that we must forget everything in an effort to save the nation. We have saved many nations in this manner, and we have lost our lives doing that before. Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Black men lie buried under the ground due to that old-time camouflage of saving the nation. We saved the British Empire, we saved the French Empire, we saved this glorious country more than once, and all that we have received for our sacrifices, all that we have received for what we have done, even in giving up our lives, is just what you are receiving now, just what I am receiving now. You and I fare no better in America, in the British Empire, or any other part of the white world. We fare no better than any Black man whatsoever he shows his head. And why? Because we have been satisfied to allow ourselves to be led, educated, to be directed by other fellow who has always sought to lead in the world in that direction that would satisfy him and strengthen his position. We have allowed ourselves for the last 500 years to be a race of followers, following every race that has led in the direction that will make them more secure. The UNIA is reversing the old time order of things. We refuse to be followers anymore. We're leading ourselves. That means if any saving is to be done later on, whether it is saving this one nation or that one government, we're going to seek a method of saving Africa first. Why? And why Africa? Because Africa has become the grand prize of the nations. Africa has become the big game of the nation hunters. Today, Africa looms as the greatest commercial, industrial, and political prize in the world. And I'm going to pass it.
Thank you, Sister Tania.
Welcome.
So we've got 3 more sections. I'll try to be quick, but thorough at the same time. I don't want to rush through it. But one thing to note again, as you said in the beginning, this is from November 25th, 1922. Today is November 14th, 2021. Almost 99 years ago, this is what Garvey was saying, and this is what was true for our people at that time. And when I think about the words that Sister Tania is reading, I still feel a lot of truth today. So we'll open it up for discussion at the end. But for me, you know, this is one of the things that I love about Garvey and UNIA is the consistency of the messaging. So, you know, this is November 22nd, November 1922, and Garvey's 37 years old at this time. A fairly young man, but well beyond his years in regards to nation building. So I'll continue. Next section is called The Difference Between the UNIA and Other Organizations. The difference between the Universal Negro Improvement Association and other movements of this country and probably the world is that the Universal Negro Improvement Association seeks independence of government, while the other organizations seek to make the Negro a secondary part of existing governments. We differ from the organizations in America because they seek to subordinate the Negro as a secondary consideration in a great civilization, knowing that in America, the Negro will never reach his highest ambition, knowing that the Negro in America will never get his constitutional rights. All those organizations which are fostering the improvement of Negroes in the British Empire know that the Negro in the British Empire will never reach the height of his constitutional rights. What do I mean constitutional rights in America? If the Black man is to reach the height of his ambition in this country, if the Black man is to get all his constitutional rights in America, then the Black man should have the same chance in the nation as any other man to become president of the nation or a street cleaner in New York. If the Black man in the British Empire is to have all his constitutional rights, it means that the Negro in the British Empire should have at least the same right to become Premier of Great Britain as he has to become street cleaner in the city of London. Are they prepared to give us such political equality? You and I can live in the United States of America for 100 more years, and our generations may live for 200 or 500 more years. And so long as there is a Black and white population, when the majority is on the side of the white race, you and I will never get political justice or get political equality in this country. Then why should a Black man with rising ambition, after preparing himself in every possible way to give expression to that highest ambition, allow himself to be kept down by racial prejudice within a country? If I am as educated as the next man, if I am as prepared as the next man, if I have passed through the best schools and colleges and universities as the other fellow, why should I not have a fair chance to compete with the other fellow for the biggest position in the nation? I have feelings, I have blood, I have senses like the other fellow. I have ambition, I have hope. Why should he, because of some racial prejudice, keep me down, and why should I concede to him the right to rise above me and to establish himself as my permanent master? That is where the UNIA differs from other organizations. I refuse to stultify my ambition, and every true Negro refuses to stultify his ambition to suit anyone, and therefore the UNIA decides if America is not big enough for 2 presidents, if England is not big enough for 2 kings, then we are not going to quarrel over the matter. We will leave 1 president in America, we will leave 1 king in England, we will leave 1 president in France, and we will have 1 president in Africa. Hence, the Universal Negro Improvement Association does not seek to interfere with the social or political systems of France, but by the arrangement of things today, the UNIA refuses to recognize any political or social system in Africa except that which we are about to establish for ourselves. Next section, fairly short, titled Not Preaching Hate. We are not preaching a propaganda of hate against anybody. We love the white man. We love all, let me say it again. We love the white man. We love all humanity because we feel that we cannot live without the other. The white man is as necessary to the existence of the Negro as the Negro is necessary to his existence. There is a common relationship that we cannot escape. Africa has certain things that Europe wants, and Europe has certain things that Africa wants. And if a fair and square deal must bring white and black with each other, it is impossible for us to escape it. Africa has oil, diamonds, copper, gold, and rubber, and all the minerals that Europe wants, and there must be some kind of relationship between Africa and Europe for a fair exchange. So we cannot afford to hate anybody. So I guess that addresses doctrine of hate being preached. Next section and last section is Negroes ever ready to assist humanity's cause. The question often asked is, what does it require to redeem a race and free a country? If it takes manpower, if it takes scientific intelligence, if it takes education of any kind, or if it takes blood, then the 400 million Negroes of the world have it. It took the combined manpower of the Allies to put down the mad determination of the Kaiser to impose German will upon the world and upon humanity. Among those who suppressed his mad ambition were 2 million Negroes who have not yet forgotten how to drive men across the firing line. Surely those of us who faced German shot and shell at the Marne at Verdun have not forgotten the order of our commander-in-chief. The cry that caused us to leave America in such mad haste when white fellow citizens of America refused to fight and said, quote, "We do not believe in war, and therefore, even though we are American citizens, and even though the nation is in danger, we will not go to war," end quote. When many of them cried out and said, quote, "We are German Americans and we cannot fight," end quote, when so many white men refused to answer to the call and dodged behind all kinds of excuses, 400,000 black men were ready without a question. It was because we were told it was a war of democracy, it was a war of liberation of the weaker peoples of the world. We heard the cry of Woodrow Wilson, not because we liked him so, but because the things he said were of such a nature that they appealed to us as men. Wheresoever the cause of humanity stands in need of assistance, there you will find the Negro ever ready to serve. He has done it from the time of Christ up to now. When the world turned its back upon Christ, the man who was said to be the Son of God, when the world cried out, "Crucify him," when the world spurned him and spat upon him, it was a black man, Simon the Cyrenian, who took up the cross. Why? Because the cause of humanity appealed to him. When the black man saw the suffering Jew struggling under the heavy cross, he was willing to go to his assistance, and he bore that cross upon the heights of Calvary. In the spirit of Simon the Cyrenian, 1900 years ago, we answered the call of Woodrow Wilson, the call of a larger humanity. And it was for that we willingly rushed into the war from America, from the West Indies, over 100,000. It was for that we rushed into the war from Africa, 2 million of us. We met in France, Flanders, and Mesopotamia. We fought unfalteringly. When the white man faltered and fell back on their battle lines at the Marne and at Verdun, when they ran away from the charge of the German hordes, the black hellfighters stood before the cannonade stood before the charge, and again they shouted, quote, "There will be a hot time in the old town tonight," end quote. We made it so hot a few months after our appearance in France on the various battlefronts, we succeeded in driving the German hordes across the Rhine and driving the Kaiser out of Germany and out of the Potsdam in Holland. We have not forgotten the prowess of war. If we have been liberal-minded enough to give our life's blood in France and Mesopotamia and everywhere fighting for the white man, whom we have always assisted, surely we have not forgotten to fight for ourselves. And when the time comes that the world will again give Africa an opportunity for freedom, surely 400 million Black men will march out on the battle plains of Africa under the colors of the red, black, and green. We shall march out, yes, as Black American citizens, as Black British subjects, as Black French citizens, as Black Italians, or as Black Spaniards, but we shall march out with a greater loyalty, the loyalty of the race, loyalty of race. We shall march out and answer to the cry of our fathers, who cry out to us for the redemption of our own country, our motherland, Africa. We shall march out, not forgetting the blessings of America, not forgetting the blessings of America. We shall march out, not forgetting the blessings of civilization. We shall march out with a history of peace before and behind us. And surely that history shall be our breastplate. For how can man fight better than knowing that the cause for which he fights is righteous? How can man fight more gloriously than by knowing that behind him is a history of slavery, a history of bloody carnage and massacre inflicted upon a race because its inability to protect itself and fight? We shall not fight for the glorious opportunity of protecting and forevermore establishing ourselves. Oh, shall we not fight for the glorious opportunity of protecting and forevermore establishing ourselves as a mighty race and nation, never more to be disrespected by men? Glorious shall be the battle when the time comes to fight for our own people and our own race. We should say to the millions who are in Africa to hold the fort, for we are coming 400 million strong. And that's the end of this speech. Sister Tania, I'll pass it back to you. Let me get some water.
It was you said that was the end? I had to walk away.
Yes, that was the end.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Okay. If anybody want to contribute to the discussion, you can. If you would like to come in or ask questions.
Raise first.
Oh, wait. I got the conference line on mute. Conference line should be on mute now. Sorry, so if anybody in the conference line wanted to make a comment, it's open now.
Raise first.
Raise first, Dr. Shem.
Greetings.
Yes, I wanted to remind everyone of something that our beloved prophet Sharif Abdul Ali told us just before he went to, or just before at the time that he went to the Havana Convention in Cuba. And that is that by being born in the USA does not necessarily make you a citizen of the USA. You have human rights, you have indigenous rights, and you even have, with Dred Scott in place, rights according to the so-called U.S. Constitution, where all these rights are being ignored. And I think in part, it's not just because You know, they saying they want to keep it that way, but we must become more proactive. We must create more activities so that those who need to know will know and recognize us as the people that we are and want to be, you know, regarding any sovereign or indigenous, any racial government that we will want to belong to, including the Moorish American government, the Nuapian government, or even the UNIA-ACL government. We have our rights, and we must be proactive in going after it, or no one will respect us. Race first.
All right, race first.
Excuse me. Could y'all hear me? Yes, we hear you.
Thank you. This is Nathaniel Turner calling from Los Angeles. I just wanted to say, first of all, just thank you for reading that incredible information. I enjoyed it very much. I just wanted to say that I would make some more comments later on. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions in regards to the reading, the principles of the Universal Negro Improvement Association?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Brother Quabana.
Sure can.
I didn't realize I wasn't on mute. Anyway, race first, family.
Race first.
I have to commend the reading, and I think it was very well spoken, what Brother Garvey came up with, and he hit the nail right on the head. So I'm very appreciative of his word, and I think that we can make a little more progress if we listen to him a little bit, if we acted on the words a little better. Let's put it like that. And I hear you, Dr. Sham. Race first.
All right.
Race
Awesome.
first.
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Quabana.
Anyone else want to share? Or
Thank you, brother. Same to you.
Thank you, Dr. Quabana.
Okay, yes, sir. Race first.
This is Alberto Macias. I just wanted to add thought. I guess one of the things I realized is that a lot of stagnation happens in us nation building, which is what Garvey says our main objective is, because so many different organizations are arguing about what to do or what's the right thing to do. One thing I love about Garvey is really he thought about everything. What to do is in front of us, and we really have a playbook. And now it's just time to really order our steps and get in line and follow the plays that's already written up. So it's much appreciation for us actually reading the playbook, and I'm looking forward to reading more, jumping into this. So just want to add that.
Thank you, First Vice President.
All right. Awesome.
Did anyone else want to share any comments in regards to the reading? I did want to say something, but I was going to let everyone else first before I say anything.
Okay, what you will.
Is that you, Lady President Mobamina?
No, I came in late on the reading, so that's why I'm not having a comment, because I came in too late.
Okay, not a problem. So just to recap, we were reading a section called The Principles of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, a speech delivered at Liberty Hall, New York City, USA, November 25th, 1922. So it's on page 93 of the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, Volume 2. A couple things that I wanted to share with the family and with the membership in the group is the reason why I asked Sister Tania yesterday if we could put this on the agenda for today. One is the date, November 25th. I'm not sure if we're going to meet. I'm sure we'll meet in 2 weeks during Thanksgiving, but I'm not sure what the turnout will be. So as far as timing, we're almost 99 years from the delivery of this speech. So that's one thing. Another thing is consistency of messaging and consistency of purpose. So for me and my thoughts, since the U.N.I.A. is over 100 years old, sometimes we can get lost on who we are, what we represent, and are we still, the same organization that Garvey founded? And in some senses, yes, we are, which is good. In some senses, no, we aren't, which is good and bad. But I mean, we will have to evolve as an organization. But some of the things that I wanted to share in regards to consistency is the attitude of the organization. And it says this association adopts an attitude not of hostility to other races and people of the world, but an attitude of self-respect, of manhood rights on behalf of 400 million, which is today close to 2 billion Africans worldwide. So that attitude is still the same. It's not about us hating other races or it's about how we feel about ourselves and what we do for our own people. Representation. We represent peace, harmony, love, human sympathy, human rights, and human justice. And this is why we fight so much. That's a consistent theme and something that still reigns true for today. The cause for the organization. Wheresoever human rights are denied to any group, wheresoever justice is denied to any group, there the UNIA finds a cause. And at this time, among all peoples of the world, the group that suffers the most from injustice, the group that is denied the most of the rights and belongs to all humanity, is the Black group. So that is our cause overall, is to help humanity. But when you look at the group of humanity that needs help the most, it's the Black people. It's our people. The ideals to fight for self, as Garvey ended, we fought several wars all over the world for different nations, but we, let's see, he said, as we have fought up the heights of Mesopotamia, even so under the leadership of the UNIA, we are marshaling 400 million Negroes of the world to fight for the emancipation of the race and the redemption of the country of our fathers. And I think that's a good statement, an excellent statement, because, as far as what we argue, the country of our fathers, some people would say it's here, some people would say it's Africa. I think people in different lands would say it's, different lands. But, I would argue that we as the original people lay claim and ownership to the whole world. So I'm willing to fight for that as well. So, and then, the new thought, which I thought was interesting. Again, this is over 100 years ago, and Garvey says, we represent a new line of thought among Negroes or Black people. So at this time, 100 years ago, it was a new line of thought to think self-reliance and self-governance. But even, today, as he said 100 years ago, what is it that he said? But he said something about like, you have to be careful speaking about government because it's not something that will be understood. So just wanted to restate, the consistency of principles and, let people know the position of 421 in regards to holding true to these ideals. And one of the last statements that he said, of all the things that we could be doing and are doing and are good at as a people, he says we're not engaged in domestic politics, in church building, or in social uplift work, but we are engaged in nation building. And I that's what we are doing as UNIA, as 421. That's our position in the global uplift of our people. We bring that nation building aspect, we bring the government aspect, and we bring the organization aspect. So those are the comments that I wanted to state in regards to the local division 421.
All right. Awesome, bro. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments in regards to the reading before we move to, we'll move to member share in a second. We do a brief officer's report. We're introducing a brief officer's report prior to member share, but were there any comments, closing comments in regards to the reading for today? Okay. All right. So we'll move into a brief report section where we just try to give an update on what's going on from an officer perspective, provide a level of transparency to the membership. So as I said, this is the first meeting, first mass meeting of November. If you don't know, my name is Brother John. I'm president. I'm sure most of y'all know that. But my update for today would be, in this month, we had President's Call first Wednesday, and then we had a Secretary's Call second Wednesday. And let me see, big update, and Brother Omasius, I'll let him give a follow-up, but the big thing on the parent body level is fundraisers, and specifically fundraisers for our international headquarters in Philadelphia. The input that I gave as far as what we would be doing here locally for fundraising is obviously pushing for membership. That's our main thing. What is it? Oh, they're going to have some calendars that we can move. There's also going to be Garvey Voice magazines that the parent body will be able to provide. But locally, we do Black government IDs. So I still need to get mine updated. Mine expired this month, so I got to get a new one. I got to get one for my wife as well. I don't want to encourage all members as well as officers, especially officers, to make sure you get your Black government ID, make sure they're updated. That's a big fundraiser for the local division. Other than that, flags. We got to get our flag production up locally. Got to get some material. But we'll talk about that. And then next year, the officers, I need officers to we got to come together next month and this month potentially to lay out the calendar for 2022 and kind of the vision for 2022. as well as potentially the vision for the next couple of years. We've talked about some goals that we have as a division, specifically membership, getting our membership, active membership up to 500 active members as soon as possible. But I'd like to, if we could, discuss some actions, that we can do to reach that goal. On the secretary's call, we kind of repeated the same stuff in regards to the fundraiser being of critical importance for the international headquarters. So I think that's the biggest item that I could share from the parent body. I'm trying to think, is there anything?
So what are they specifically doing for us in terms of fundraising?
What do you mean they? Well,
what are we supposed to be doing to help building that facility? We need to get our own facilities locally.
Well, yes, and that's kind of, we're going to look at it two ways. I was going to, my approach was, let's do a general fundraiser, have a general fundraiser, and a percentage of that would go towards the international headquarters. So we have a general fundraiser that includes Garvey Voice magazine, calendars, Black government IDs, flags, just donations or whatever, where we just get as much as we can, and then a percentage of it, 5%, 10% or whatever, would go towards international headquarters. That's my thought.
Greetings, also, family, my brother Omasius. On the 21st, which is the third Sunday, they're having a mass meeting, and they'll be live via Zoom, and the President General will be the keynote speaker 21st. So that's our off week, and they're presenting a economic pledge, which basically with different pledge amounts that members can pledge to, and each pledge amounts, they're using the international headquarters as a major resource center, and the goal is to make that a model for all the divisions to be able to follow. And some of the highlights that's going to be in the headquarters is a business development center, a wellness center, and things like that. So with tools to be able to help grow out the economy of the UNIA. So they'll be talking about that pledge on the Zoom call on the 21st. I'm going to give President John the flyer, make sure he has that flyer for that event to send out to everybody so that everybody can have it in their email. But that is what the activities that's going on right now at the international headquarters right now. They're preparing for that 21st event.
Thank you, First Vice President. And Lady President, to further answer your question, as of right now, the approach is asking each local division for pledges. So as Brother Macy has said, they're going to be having a presentation where they're asking each individual as well as divisions to pledge certain amounts. So that's one of the main fundraisers. But again, the calendars and the Garvey Voice would be coming from the parent body as well.
Okay.
And the only other thing I've got is, Brother Macy, I'm glad you reminded me, before the 21st, so I guess that's the 20th, the third Saturday, they're supposed to be starting orientation, and it's supposed to be open to all members. I haven't gotten any, that'll be next week, I guess. I haven't gotten a lot of information on that, but be on the lookout for it, and it'll start, and it'll be every month. I'm sure it's every month, that same third Saturday. So will be the first one, but there'll be several more.
It's going to be from the National?
Yes. Yep. Other than that, financial reports are going to be due next week. President Ross Marvin, Treasurer, has given me all the financial information from October. I believe we got one new member in October, and as of November, we've gotten one new member, but I'm only looking at October right now. But I have more details on that hopefully next week. And I really don't have anything else. Was there any questions or anything for me?
We're going to start planning our Kwanzaa for December.
Good question. I got a call from one of the groups. They're saying they're trying to do something on one day at the church that we've been talking about, the Beloved Community Church with Reverend Slaughter. But I don't know exactly what day. But that'll be one. That could be one of the events for that week if we plan on doing multiple events. But that's the only thing I know.
Well, maybe we need to look at the calendar and select one of those days.
Yes. But yes, the 26th to the 1st. But that's the only thing I've heard thus far. Anybody, Brother Macy, you don't have any update on Kwanzaa or anything?
As far as the Kwanzaa events, right now, don't have any updates about what Shrine is doing, but they normally have the event there, and we still have to contact them and see exactly what they're doing. If not, then we do have some venue partners we can partner with to do some events of our own if we want to, with 640 West being one of them. So just have to confirm with Shrine, but we do have that partnership that we could work. Could we work and have events there if they aren't doing anything?
Okay. My main, I've never really done Kwanzaa before, but since it's a week-long event, my only concern is everybody trying to do something on the same day. You got 10 different events on one day, and then the rest of the days ain't nobody really doing nothing.
Kwanzaa is a 7-day holiday, so that day after Christmas, somebody could do something. And every day of Kwanzaa, somebody can have an activity, and that's what it's supposed to be. Now, we want to pick a weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of that time. We can say on this day the UNIA is going to do this, that, or the other, whatever it is we decide to do. If the Shrine does something, they do it whatever day. We need to investigate when the other Black organizations are doing things in the city of Atlanta. If we want to collectively do something, we can. If we want to do our own thing, we can.
I agree. My approach has been, I've been hesitant to try to do something, our own thing right now. I've been trying to partner with other groups that were already doing something, but that's just my thoughts.
Can we see what the Shrine is doing? We want to do something there with them?
You said the Shrine?
Yes, or some, whatever Black organizations. I like the idea of what you said, doing with that pastor with something that with those people, but what day are they doing it on?
I know, and I think that's where we are. We need to find out what's going on, what days are being occupied, and then, if we want to fill any days, we can do that. But I just found out about the church one this week. They were just, trying to confirm that we would be able to participate.
Okay. Well, then that's what we need to find out. When the different organizations are having something and what they're having, and then we could, select a day for ourselves too. So, that's something that we would need to do in the next week or two.
I agree. But yeah, that'll be me, you, Brother Macius, and Sister Rag.
Yes.
Okay.
We're on it.
Well, that's all I really had. Mama Mina, did you want to share anything?
No, I just wanted us to get our Kwanzaa things going.
All right. Yeah, we gotta keep working on that. Brother Macius,
And then we can look forward to after we get our year calendar for the 2000 and the next year, we can assign committees up front to pre-plan our activities throughout the year.
Yes, that's what December is supposed to be about. The executive meeting. We're going to look at the calendar for 2022 for next year.
Right.
Brother Macius, First Vice President, did you have anything else you want to share with the family? Brother Macius. All right, Sister Tania.
No, I didn't have anything. Okay. I just think. It's just a reminder of what we have to get done. We're on it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Kwanzaa. We still got to work on Kwanzaa, and I think the big things coming up, from what I'm hearing, not always, but as of recently, Tuesday, study group for officers, Message to the People, Course of African Philosophy. Saturday, we should have some information, or before Saturday, but one Saturday, orientation. And then Sunday, there'll be a mass meeting or some type of presentation out of Philadelphia. So those are the next couple of things in the immediate near future coming up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll bring in next officer.
So,
go ahead, Lady President.
On the 21st, that's when the thing is going to go. It's going to be live on Zoom, right?
21st, Brother Macius, that's going to be on Zoom, I assume.
Yeah, it's going to be on Zoom, but they will be at the hall. If anybody want to travel up, it will be 1609 Cecil B. Moore, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
But President
so what time?
President General will be in Philadelphia. At 3 p.m. is when the event starts.
Oh, 3 p.m.
Yeah. 3 p.m. It'll be a good opportunity to meet President General if anybody want to come up.
Thank you, Brother Macius. Thank you, Lady President. Want to bring in Sister Tania, Second Lady Vice President. Is there anything you want to share with the family, Sister Tania?
We're going to be working on the schedule for the year coming up. So if there are, I know in the CBPM, we can be more flexible there. So if anybody on that have any topics that they think that we should discuss, you can message me at Dallas, Texas at cbpm.org. We're more flexible with the CBPM as far as like if you want to do topics that's not organization related, but if you have topics that is related to the UNIA that you would like to hear about, then you can hit me at the same place.
Yes. Thank you, Second Lady Vice President, Sister Tania. Yes, she excellent reminder. We're looking at the schedule for next year and trying to look at adjusting the format. One, primarily for engagement, and to we had talked about current events, but engagement and making sure we're current. But As Sister Tania said, we're looking at suggestions for topics for next year. The way we've gotten, and just for a brief history, the way that we got to where we are is kind of similar. We had been going through mass meetings, and we kind of sat back and thought, okay, instead of just hopping up and trying to figure something out the week of, can we lay things out for the year, and as well as incorporate the topics that we need to touch on. So we ended up incorporating the training and the officers into our mass meetings. So that's why in our mass meetings, our topics will be like, counsel general or the office of the youth and promotions. But at any rate, as Sister Tania said, we're looking at adjusting the schedule for next year, and we're open for suggestions. Any questions, comments? Okay. Next, I want to bring in our treasurer, President Ross Marvin. President Ross Marvin, how are we looking? Ross Marvin, you there? Okay. Come back home. We'll go to our second vice president, member 173, Brother Kwanzaa.
Greetings, family. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brother Kwanzaa.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I happen to be out here at the airport coming to pick up my son and my sister-in-law. So I've been listening. What was it I wanted to say? 401 out of Chicago has started a once-a-month teaching session. And for the last 2 months, I attended this Zoom meeting. The one that they had this past Friday was a chapter from Francis Quest Welsing's book, chapter 23, and it dealt with relationships between black men and black women. And I thought it was a very nice discussion. They asked for $5. That's one of their fundraisers, and maybe we could do something like that once a month. Watch a video together and then have a discussion about it.
I think that would be good.
I made a suggestion to them when they brought up the black male, female. I said, well, perhaps you would like to want to listen to Amos Wilson's speech that he gave on black male, female relationships. One of the most excellent talks I've ever heard in my life. But that's what I have for right now, and I may have to cut out soon. But that's where we are. Race first.
Race first.
Race first.
Race first.
Yeah, shout out Chicago Division 401. They do a lot of work, community work, as well as organization work. And especially when it comes to working with other divisions. They're a great model of doing that and making sure we stay connected. So thank you, Brother Kwanzaa, for representing Division 421 and supporting Division 401 in their fundraiser. And yes, we gotta increase our fundraisers as well. And doing a Zoom video doesn't require a whole lot of output. So that's something we had talked about. But yeah, fundraisers, we've got to be more active with executing these ideas. So thank you, Brother Kwanzaa.
President John, this brother Mix again. I did want to add about 401. The president of 401 is actually the chair of the National Headquarters Restoration Committee. And they will be in Philadelphia too on the 21st.
Yep. So yeah, sounds like we gearing up for a national fundraising tour that'll be starting in Philadelphia. But I like it. It's interesting that they're doing this. For those that are going through the course and those that have gone through the course of African philosophy, when you read lesson 22, it talks about a 5-year plan of fundraising. It's similar from what they're doing. It sounds like they're trying to implement some of those principles. So I'm proud of the organization. So we'll keep it moving.
You said the president is the chair of what group?
Say again. I'm sorry, Lady President.
The president is the chair of the international. What was the name of the?
So basically, the president of Chicago division is the head of the fundraising campaign for the international.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. President Ross Marvin, did you come back, or are you still gone? Marvin? Let me bring in our division chaplain, Chaplain Mitchell.
Yes, greetings, brothers and sisters. I hope that everyone is doing well. I was just listening to the conference call and listening to the speech of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and I was very inspired with the things that he talked about, and he took a very strong interest in African people globally. We got to remember that we are all Pan-Africanists, or whatever you classify yourself as. We must have a global understanding of what our people are going through. African Americans are just as important as Africans in the motherland, so forth. And we just need to learn to embrace each other and understand each other and love one another. That's all I wanted to say, President John. Race first.
Race first. Thank you, Chaplain Mitchell.
All right, race first.
Thank you, Chaplain Mitchell. Excellent point. I'm glad you said that, because when I was preparing for this and reviewing it, that was one of the things that came to my mind. But as you go through things, sometimes, or as you execute it, sometimes you forget. The things that you were thinking about before. But at any rate, thank you for that. And I want to ask, I agree. And we have to remember, for those of us that take the pledge to the red, black, and green flag, it's a question. We say that we would promise that our children will be instilled with something. Wait, no, that's not what I'm asking. We say that we accept for ourselves and our descendants something, and it relates to what Chaplain Mitchell was talking about. I accept for myself and my descendants. You said the knowledge of purpose. It is the teachings of universal African nationalism. So that's what Chaplain Mitchell was referring to. That's what Garvey refers to. That's what, when we talk about Pan-Africanism, it's synonymous. But we make a pledge to accept the teachings of universal African nationalism. So we have to understand that. We have to understand what it means. And we have to carry out, and act out, what that means to be universal African nationalists. So thank you, Chaplain Mitchell. That is what we claim as members of the UNIA. So we have to be about the practice of universal African nationalism. It's a global fight. It's not a local fight. I think that is, Getting long. I didn't know we had so many officers on the call. I gotta be careful with this. Let me jump over to our Legal Defense Committee Chair, our Attorney Imhotep. Attorney Imhotep, is there anything that you'd like to share with the family?
No, I don't have anything to share. Race first.
Race first. Thank you, Attorney Imhotep. Race first. And let's see, I think that's everybody there. That's the officers there. Officers. Last one. Our promotions and constitutional constitutional committee coordinator, Brother James. Greetings, Brother James.
Hey, greetings. How y'all doing? I don't really have too much to share. I just got back from Los Angeles this morning, and I met one of the brothers in our chapter, our UNIA chapter in Toronto, Canada. You know, they were excited about, you know, the things I got going on with the book, and it was just good to meet with those brothers. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to share. Race first.
Race first. Thank you, Brother James. Yeah, love the work that you're doing. You know, Brother James is doing the critical work. And as I said, mute your lines, you got background. But another one of the pledges that we say in regards to the children, I promise that our children will be instilled with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people. And Brother James embodies that to a T. He's an author. Right now, he's authored 2 children's books, but definitely teaching the children purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people. So thank you, Brother James, for the work that you're doing. Continue to do that work and continue to travel and teach our people everywhere we are. So I think that's all of the officers. Were there any officers that did not get a chance to share before I move to the ladies? Okay, I think we got all the officers. First, as we know, brothers, we have to be good listeners. So I'll bring in our sisters first. Make sure I'm doing this right. First sister, we're gonna bring in UNIA member 385, Sister Adaku.
Oh, greetings, everyone. Hope everybody's doing fine. I don't have anything special to say. I just wanted to be to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Adaku, and we appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here with us.
Okay, thank you.
Next sister that we have, UNIA member 160. Well, she's with Attorney Imhotep. But Sister Aziza, is Sister Aziza on the line? Attorney Imhotep, Sister Aziza, does she want to share anything, or we always offer? Any sisters that would like to share? She said working on putting some programs together. She's the head of Black Cross Nurses here at Division 421. I forgot to let you do this report. You know what's going on. Okay. All right. I think that is all of the sisters. Any sisters before we move to the brothers? All right. Let me jump over to the first brother that's been on the call, always representing UNIA member 172 in New York, Dr. Shams.
Raise first.
Raise first, Dr. Shams.
Yes, yes. I like everything that's being shared, you know, and I have an idea for proactivity, and that my suggestion is that we use some of the recordings that we put together pertaining to our meetings and get boom boxes where we could go out into the public to let our people hear what we're about and to do recruitment and build up our numbers. Race first.
Race first. Awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Champs. That's a good point. Good idea. One thing we have to, I'm cautious of is, when we come to these meetings, if we consider this a safe space, it's a space for our people where we can, be ourselves and share our thoughts. We just have to be careful about what information we choose to share. We may have to do some editing or chopping up, but we've even thought about, sharing some of this information on social media as well, but we run into the same issue. So I think we do have, to your point, Dr. Shams, I think we do have more control if we do it the way that you said, where we put it in our own system and we share it with our own people. We have a lot more control than putting something on social media. I think it's a good idea. And I'm going to, leave that to the division executives to, help me bring that into a reality. But thank you, Dr. Chance, for that idea. Next brother that we've got, on the line. Yeah, you've been here for a minute as well. CBPM member 2,849 in Long Beach, California, brother Nathaniel.
All right, thank you. Race first.
Race first, brother Nathaniel.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the call and thank you for the reading. Like I said earlier, I'm actually calling. I'm actually marketer in the Buy Black movement, which is tag team marketing. I don't know if you all have heard of that, but I want to and how much time do you have on doing this? So I don't go too far over.
You go ahead and you got at least, I got 3 to 5 minutes.
Got what? Oh, 3 to 5 minutes?
3 to 5 minutes, yeah. If you don't take more than 5 minutes, that'll be good.
Okay. Thank you. Like I said, I'm Nathaniel Turner, and I'm a marketer of tag team marketing, which is basically getting Black people buying from Black-owned businesses. And I wanted to share this with you all. Ross Marvin gave me the opportunity to actually come on the call and actually just share this incredible program with you all and see what you think of it. And to give you an idea of who I am, I actually am a marketer, like I said, and I do sell products to Black people, and that's how the way we create income coming in. These brothers and sisters are really doing some incredible work in doing that. There's a wonderful website that displays some incredible products, and the good thing about it is it's founded upon what Garvey did, basically Black products made by Black people. So these are not products that's bought from China and sell to our people, not like that. Okay, so, in this movement, I actually had, let's tell you a little bit about myself. I actually, won last year Team Builder of the Year, multi-platinum winner, meaning I have sold a lot of products to a lot of Black people. But before that, before this, I was, working a job and basically a lot of hours and a job I didn't like and being around people I didn't like. I wanted something a little bit more with purpose, something that deal with Black people a little more. And then I found this brother who actually is the co-founder of Tag Team. I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Delzino Wilson Debriano. And the brother just told me that, he said, yo, I can show you how to do this business. And doing this business and learning this business, I found out that we as a people spend over $1 trillion every year. In 2019, we spent like $1.2 trillion on just consumable products, That's incredible. That number, like, you know, out of 196 different countries, only 20 make more than that. So we as the people literally got the money we need within our own selves. And by us buying from other nations, we ourselves create that incredible poverty that we are here today. You see what I'm saying? So this company, man, they already got like 25 years of experience of doing this. They have already done it. They got like $100 million coming back to the Black community, and they helped the Black community. But they found out one thing, that we were handing away that $100 million. We were handing it away. So what they did is they said, well, let's come up with another idea, another plan. And the plan was called the Buy Black Movement, which started like 6 years ago. And the Buy Black Movement has already sold, shipped, and delivered over 193,000 products to Black people. It already has a membership of 73,000 people in 159 different countries that believes in buying Black. So it is an incredible opportunity, an incredible thing. Now, these three parts that I'm talking about, like Black people that make the products, Black people that sell the products, and Black people that buy the products. And that three parts, brothers and sisters, actually Garvey did the same thing. That's why the Garvey movement was so powerful and moved so quickly and grew so quickly. So this movement is actually taking that up. We got some like incredible products, like I said. We have one product, I'm gonna just tell with you real quick. It's called Motherland's Gold Moringa, which is a product that comes out of Africa, and is grown on a tree. We take the leaf and we wash it, dry it, and crush it into powder. And Black people are taking it like vitamins. So it is also a business opportunity. So I'm going to come on each week, you know, and give you all updates and opportunity to really know about what's going on in this incredible movement of getting our people buying Black and keeping them dollar in the Black community. If you have any questions, you can ask me now, but if you have any questions, you can also call me. My number is 770-896-7325, and the website is www.buyblackmovement.com/Nat Turner. So I appreciate you all, and I will be coming back onto the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Nathaniel. Race first.
Race first.
Yes, and yeah, that echoes one of my favorite quotes from Garvey. I'm pretty sure it's from Garvey. Be Black, buy Black, think Black. And
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. I love that quote.
All right. Let's see. I think we got a couple more brothers on the Zoom. We'll go to Brother Art in Virginia. Brother Art, are you there?
Race first. I
Race
have
first.
nothing to share at this time. Just learning.
Thank you, my brother Art. Thank you, Brother Art. And we have one more brother, I believe, or at least I've noticed. Brother Ormond. Brother Ormond, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. You talked earlier about Kwanzaa. Tuesday night at Reverend Slaughter's church at Beloved Church, there's going to be a meeting with WADU, World Diaspora Union, and they're planning a Kwanzaa, and they're looking for other groups to hold with. So if anyone's interested in your group, contact Sister Jabina at 404-543-809 and have some representative from UNIA there, and maybe you can do this Kwanzaa. Looking for someone to partner with. Race first.
Race first, Brother Ormond. What's that number? 404-543-8099. 404-543-8099. The Jabina. Jabina?
Sister Jabina, Jabena, with the WADU, Diaspora Union.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Orman. We have been in communication with WADU in regards to the Kwanzaa event at Beloved Community Church.
Oh, good,
So
good.
That's what I was mentioning to some of the other officers. But we got to figure out what day exactly they want to do the event. But we were looking at Kwanzaa the whole week. So I don't know if they're doing one day. Well, I think from what I heard, it's supposed to be one day. But we want to try to see how much we can do for that entire week. But thank you for that information. I'm going to reach out to that sister. I don't know if you know Brother Tut Moses.
Yeah, Brother Tut will be there also.
Yes, yeah. So we're pretty close with Brother Tut. He's a member of Division 421. So we are planning on attending that meeting.
Right. And by Black Move, also, network marketing, they've been there for about 6-7 years also in Atlanta. I think the name is Brother Reggie. He has a lot of programs. I don't know the exact address, but there's definitely a presence in Atlanta here.
What'd you say his name was?
I think his name is Brother. Wow, they have a lot of programs times of the year and a lot of promotional things. It's can't remember the exact address, but I could to you.
You're breaking up a little bit, Brother Orman.
Okay, maybe right into the microphone here.
Lady President, the Brother Orman, did you say that there was a meeting coming this Tuesday?
Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
That's supposed to be at the church?
At the church. Brother Chuck will be there, along with, I think he'll be representing WADU also, because he's a member of U.N.I.A. and what stations, but it's Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
What's the address for the church?
1113 Irish Street.
Right.
I think it's technically southwest. Sister, Lady President, I will try to reach out to this sister or Brother Tut and get more information. I knew about the Kwanzaa event at the end of the year, but I didn't know about this meeting this week.
They're probably planning Kwanzaa. That's what they're doing. They're making plans, I would think.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'll find out if they want or need our participation on this meeting.
And we're going to meet with our people so we can see what we're going to do. It's already November, so we need to have our plans together next week.
Yes.
Well, I see the plan, find out exactly how the format for the actual Kwanzaa and where the group fit in. So I guess your president.
I hear his whole statement.
Brother Orman, you breaking up. It's kind of hard to follow you.
Oh, okay. Headphones on then. What information do you need?
So whatever the organization needs.
It's going to be 5 o'clock today at the Beloved Church.
The phone number for Sister Jabina is 404-543-8099. She's a member of WADU and she's a part of the planning committee.
Thank you, my brother. We're gonna reach out to her.
All right, good. Thank you, Brother John.
No problem.
Race first.
Race first. Was anyone that did not get a chance to share? $6:50. We close in an hour and 10 minutes. early. I don't know if it's Lady President, is anything that you wanted to. Well, I don't. It's just me, you, and
You need to establish a day when our officers will meet, so we could talk about planning our Kwanzaa.
well, hold on. Let me do something really quick. Let me close out the meeting. I'll allow members and supporters to continue their evening, and officers, please stay on for this discussion.
Okay.
So, with that being said, thank you everybody for being on the call. And we close out with the motto of the organization. Repeat after me: One God.
One God.
One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Africa for the Africans.
Africa
for the Africans.
At home.
Those at home and those abroad.
Those at home and
those abroad.
Race first, family. Officers.
Race first.
Race first.
Race first.
Race first.
So, hold on. Can I give me 2 minutes and use the restroom? Yeah, okay. All right.
There.
Okay.
Hello, are you right there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. President John, can I share my screen?
Yes. Thanks. I gotta unlock it. Hold on. Try this.
I'll give it 1 second. I had some events that I had kind of themes for each day. I did that we could do ourselves. And I'm just editing the document real quick for this thing.
I'm trying to bring up the calendar every Sunday.
For Kwanzaa.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes. I mean, what were you talking about?
I'm talking about Kwanzaa specifically.
Okay, cool. Same page.
It looks like December the 26th is a Sunday. So we got Sunday through Friday. I think.
Yeah, but I don't know what, when, okay, I guess we, I don't know. I don't know when everybody else is doing stuff, so I don't know if we want to put a lot of emphasis on something, but then if, I guess we can still play it, it's okay. Because if they come back and say, hey, the big event is on that day, then we have to move ours. But I guess we can still discuss it. So we talk, all right, well, what are we discussing though? Are we talking about having our own event or a week of Kwanzaa?
Well, the idea that I had was kind of like Zoom events, but I know we want to get together. I don't know. Well, the first step is to see what everybody else is doing. That's the first. So we really need to do that research and then figure out what we're going to do.
As of right now, only thing that I'm aware of is we have just Beloved Community Church, but I don't know what day that is. So, I don't know how much we can get done right now. It sounds like we still need to find out what the other groups are doing, unless we wanted to make a list of other groups that we should be contacting, like an action item list.
Okay, what other groups are we going to contact?
I'm not sure. I've never done Kwanzaa before.
Oh, I've done Kwanzaa for the last, since it was the Kwanzaa. So I know Kwanzaa, without a doubt. You know, the first day is the Unity Day, Umoja. Kujitagalia. That's self-determination. Second day.
Worker responsibilities, cooperative economics, creativity, and faith.
Nia, purpose, Nia Kumba, and creativity, right?
Purpose, creativity, and faith.
So Kwanzaa centers around the 7 principles. So we have to learn the 7 principles, and then you decide, you know, you're going to have something on one of those days. Then you would concentrate on that, the principle of the day. So whoever's doing something on that Sunday, that's probably when the brother's going to have it for his church, since after 26th, I think. Then the next Monday, so that's the day of Umoja, if they have something on that day. But the next day would be Kujitagalia, self-determination. Right?
Yes, I mean, I think we understand the order of the days, but the question is like where we would fit into the calendar.
Okay, so what other groups are we going to look into?
That was the other question. What groups?
Well, I do know the colleges have those Black Student Associations, those Black Student Unions, they have events on campuses. I don't know about at home. And small I guess the schools would have something. Those Black schools.
One second. Yeah, I don't know if students will be on campus around Christmas time. You think so?
Well, I went to one, I don't know, maybe not.
Let me share my screen. Brother Mason,
I'll call Georgia State to see what they're doing. I know a couple of brothers who work there. in the Pan African Studies Department.
All right. Let's see. How do I do this? Love Community Church is number 1.
Or we have to see if they're doing something at the shrine, huh?
Yeah, I think Love Community Church for the Black Madonna. I mean, I can check. I don't know how. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's the word. I was thinking about some of the other religious groups, but nah, I don't think that would go well. So we got Beloved Community Church. They already have an event, and the Black Madonna.
That brother Jamal Bryant, who's at Eddie Long's church, he might be doing something. His mother and father has Jamal Bryant. He's the now pastor at Eddie Long's church. That's a big old church.
Anybody got connection with Pastor Jamal Bryant?
Nope.
I know his uncle, his daddy. Maybe we can call him.
You know, they say it's only 6 degrees of separation between everybody.
That's right. So do we want to see what we can find out in the next couple of days and then get back together?
I mean, I think that's a good idea. I was just, as far as who we could reach out to, beyond, this is new to me, so Beloved Community Church, Shrine. I'm running out of groups, and I think at Beloved Community Church, we'll run into a lot of the other groups that are doing Kwanzaa at that meeting.
So maybe we ought to go to that meeting and we find something out. You think?
I think so. Yeah.
So that's Tuesday.
Yes, that's Tuesday.
You think you can make it?
I think so. Tuesday at 5.
I'll see if I can make it, and we can see what we can learn.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna hold everybody longer than we have to. Sounds like the plans for moving forward for Kwanzaa, the officers or us as officers, we're all officers on this call. We need to reach out to organizations that are doing Kwanzaa and find out what their schedule is. Kwanzaa is from December 26th to January 1st. So we want to try to eliminate, if we are going to do anything ourselves, try not to have something on the same day as another organization. So we're trying to see if we can spread these events out and celebrate, all 7 principles of Kwanzaa. So We'll be looking at Beloved Community Church. We'll have a meeting that's coming Tuesday. We'll see whether they're doing one day or multiple days. At that meeting, there'll probably be other groups there. They may have their own individual Kwanzaa celebration, so we may have some more calendar updates from that. Shrine of the Black Madonna is another group that is probably doing something for Kwanzaa. We talked about tapping in with the schools. We do need to have a relationship with the schools here in Atlanta, the colleges, as well as the independent African schools, and potentially Pastor Jamal Bryan or other pastors of churches that may recognize Kwanzaa. Is there anything that I did not put that could be on the?
Maybe I'm a black organization in Atlanta that celebrate Kwanzaa. I mean, it's just been happening forever. So some of these black organizations, the fraternities, sororities, all those groups would probably celebrate Kwanzaa some kind of way, I think.
Fraternities, sororities.
Maybe so. I don't know.
I'm in the fraternity fraternity myself. Kwanzaa is not really celebrated. I mean, a lot of our community are still waking up to what Kwanzaa is.
Yep.
Kwanzaa is a pretty old holiday. It's been around forever. I celebrated it from the start. My lordy.
1972, right? Something like that. Yeah.
But that's the state of the race. Anytime the United States Post Office has a Kwanzaa stamp and black people not celebrating it, but that don't make no sense, does it?
Think about all the other factors. I guess that's what makes it make sense. Everything, all the different factors of programming.
Oh, that's just the state. That's the state of the race, and you know it was state of our existence.
So I put it in the chat document with a proposed event schedule that I believe go along with the principle of what we're trying to do for the 11 aims and objectives. And the thought process was to find venues who are doing events that match the energies that we're trying to produce with each day and aligning with those events. But each day, each theme, of course, of Kwanzaa is kind of in the title of each event. Like Saturday, owning our oneness, Sunday, owning our minds, owning our resources, owning our currency, owning our opportunities, which is purpose, owning our art, creativity, owning our faith. And I really was thinking about the idea of ownership because that self-reliance is what the energy that we want to put into the community. So using Kwanzaa to produce that energy of ownership and that idea of ownership, but by aligning these 7 factors that we all need. So just an idea. I'm not sure if you guys can click on the document that's in the chat and open it up, but that's the idea for each day, and it'll be our flyer, and then each day we will just find somebody who's doing an event, like I said, that matches their energy, and that'll help us even come up with a list of venues or events that we're looking for, help us kind of find.
Thank you, Brother Macy's. Was that what you sent in the chat? Because I was trying to open it up, but you got to give me access.
Yeah, let me know if you can't open it I can make sure the link is shared.
Is there a request sent? You'll get
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Email will get it.
No, hold on. I'm about to unlock it. Just unlock it. So I just gotta change the privacy setting there. All right. Okay, now, yeah, you should be able to click on the link now and then go straight through. It's a link in the chat with a 7-day proposed event schedule. And
I'm gonna share what I got.
so,
okay, go ahead, Brother Mason, you want to present?
Again, the goal of this Kwanzaa was to, I personally feel like I love these principles, but of course they align with the 11 aims and objectives that we're trying to do within the UNIA as far as governing ourselves and ownership. So came up with these themes and ideas to really focus on ownership, but then the different factors of ownership that align with each principle of Kwanzaa. So as you can see, each one has a title each day, owning our oneness, and we're supposed to be evoking unity, which is the principle. And then we also connect with the community. So that day we focus on inviting political social activists out, or whatever we want to do, or find an event with political social activists event that's out there already that's going on. Then Sunday's energy is self-determination. So we own our minds, evoking self-determination with teachers and educators. So mental has to do with education. So some type of event around education. Owning our resources, collect responsibility is the other principle. So that's like a cleanup day or something like that in the community. Collect responsibility, helping elders work on the house or something like that. A good community service project would be good for that day. Collect responsibility. Tuesday, owning our currency. So that would be a good day to present our 5-year plan, whatever that is, if we had it by then, or any type of finances situation, or the We Buy Black movement, or whatever, be something that we present, but or find somebody else who's doing the event that's talking about cooperative economics. So some type of organization that focus on cooperative economics. But owning our opportunities, that's purpose, of course, which is the next one. Filling our purpose with real estate, investors in agriculture, meet and greet. That's talking about creating. Our purpose is to build the land, to cultivate Mother Earth, and so that's real estate. That's agriculture. And then of course the creativity is the next one. So that's what we focus on: artists and entertainment. Creativity. So we could even have an open mic that day or something like that, or just focusing on the entertainment industry, artists, and bridging the gap between us and them. So each day is so we can bridge the gap between us and the people who do that certain things, like political social activists, teachers and educators, entrepreneurs, real estate developers. So that's the focus. We're trying to bridge the gap. And then of course the last one, owning our faith. And our goal is to possibly, get multiple different faiths and religions to come together, sit at a table, have an event together collectively, something like that. If they're not doing it already, maybe we can head up something like that. But or just be at one. But of course, the last one is faith. That's on the Friday this year. So just a proposed idea, proposed thoughts to add a little bit of direction.
Thank you, Brother Macias. Good foundation. 2 questions. One is, the principles of Kwanzaa. Are these in line, I guess, each day in line with the principle for that day?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see what else. Okay, yeah, this is a good foundation, but I want to build on it or use this as a backbone or structure. So let's keep it, but it's the only thing is like we got to be flexible. So if whatever if we're partnering with another organization that's doing something on Sunday or Thursday that may be different from what you're presenting, that's the only thing.
Yeah,
we got to be flexible in that respect.
You know, very flexible, 100%.
Okay, but for anything that's, and I like this because, like I said, you know, it should be in our vision. We should have something for each day. So if we reach out to these other organizations, you know, and we find out that Tuesday or Thursday or Friday or nobody has something on a certain day, then this will be a great starting point, you know, for that day.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, in closing, I think our action items are still the same in regards to reaching out to other organizations, seeing what's going on, and trying to fill up that week of Kwanzaa with events and opportunities for us to partner. And if nothing's going on, then an opportunity for us to create something. But I think the first thing, like I said, let's see what other people have going on, because we don't want to create something. I mean, especially if it's if the days are specific to certain principles, we don't want to create something for Sunday and then find out, you know, we got to move to Thursday. So I want to see what other groups are doing first and quickly, and you know, populate the calendar with that stuff, and then we come behind and fill in the gaps.
And I just wanted to add.
So we want to give ourselves a week to find out this, or yes, you know, 2 or 3 days. Because we had to start planning our event and whatever we're gonna do.
I mean, we at least got to wait till after Tuesday. So I think this coming weekend will probably be best.
Okay.
We'll probably, coming out of Tuesday, it's probably gonna like reignite us. You know, we're gonna be wanting to, you know, we'll get a lot of information coming out of there.
Right. Okay.
I'm sure that's already understood, but every event we do ourselves could be a fundraiser.
Yes. Yes, we gotta, you know, yes. Yeah, we gotta be better. Last event we did, I think we were negative probably about $100. But you know, it's not crazy. But it's usually the renting out the event space was the big expense for us last time, and then purchasing the food and snacks and things like that was the next biggest. So if we can reduce our expenses somehow, that will help with profit. Somebody saying something?
No, except Kwanzaa is a holiday, so we can try to raise money, but you know, what we're gonna sell?
Yeah, we got to get our products. We got to get our products up. And Brother Macias, you know, I need your help with that from a business perspective. So, you know, I know your hands are full. My hands are full as well. Like all of our hands should be full as officers, especially vice presidents. So, yeah, we've got to. Mama Mean, I know I gave you the sewing machine. I haven't figured mine out either, but we got to get those going, figure them out, maybe even teach some people how to use them, get some material, make some flags, as well as any other products. We need to establish our economic base, you know, books, flags. We're talking about IDs. We're trying to do potentially Garvey Voice magazine, calendars. You know, we talked about shirts,
But
we can make bumper stickers. One guy, one name, one destiny, or something. You know, sell those.
That idea. Yeah.
Race first.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we can do. We just need to discuss it. We need to discuss it and commit to it because, and as Brother Omasius would know from a business perspective, the more volume you get, the cheaper it is. So if we get 100 or 1,000 of something, or 1,000 versus 100 of something, we get it at a better price, but we have to be able to move it. That's been the issue. So even with the Garvey Voice magazines and the calendars, we can get them at a decent price, but if we can't move them, then it won't be a benefit. So just wanted to state that, make sure that was understood amongst us. Anything else we need to discuss right now? Since we got everybody on here, I don't think there's anything I can think of. I got to do the financial report, but I think we're doing pretty good. But I'll give an update on where we are on membership and stuff. But, for the month of November, we don't really have a lot going on. But if there's something that we need to be aware of, there's a time.
Nope. I mean, I just, of course, when I think about business development, I go to think about our first product, which is our membership, and perfecting some way to accelerate that growth process. I think is our first order of business, because that's the first product we have. So that's like what I think about immediately when we want to think about developing businesses of the division.
Raceford, I agree, Brother Macy's. I've gotten into I may need to talk with, I hope President Ross Marvin is on. He may add a comment on this. Yeah, I'm going back and forth. It seems like a circular thing, between, because obviously, yes, the goal is members, but when you talk to the members, it's like they want to see something within the organization, to become a member, So it's like we go back and forth between trying to go out and get the members or go out and get the thing that the members say, we should have or that they're looking for when they get here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%.
So then I think I'm sorry.
I'm with you on that 100%. Yep.
And so that's what I was going to say. I think that our membership needs to be fed then. I mean.
That's true.
You said our membership needs to be?
I said fed socially and culturally.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
but this pandemic has stopped a whole lot since we don't meet personally. If we had meetings or something, and then we invited people to come out to teach on different subject matter. Teach, even if teach Marcus Garvey's principles. It's a good thing to do over the phone, but if we have a session and we see each other, we're talking, and we're maybe having videos going or something. Black people need something to feed their souls.
I understand. I agree. Attorney Imhotep, you there?
Say that one more time.
I was asking for Attorney Imhotep in regards to what, because Mama Mina, in regards to meeting in person, I feel like it's been a back and forth. Amongst our people.
Excuse me, Brother John. Brother John.
Attorney Imhotep. Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. I missed you.
Yeah,
well, forgive me.
Not a problem. I wanted to get your thoughts on meeting in person. I know you had been a proponent of, had been cautious, as well as I think Brother Kwanzaa, as well as others, including myself at times. But in regards to how we carry ourselves in this new pandemic type of environment, your thoughts on meeting in person?
Yes, and these are my personal thoughts. I wouldn't advise it now because of the pandemic, and maybe and hopefully sometime next year that would be possible. This forum of Zoom meetings, conference calls are productive, I would submit, and good, and yeah, I recall even before the pandemic, we didn't meet so much as far as meetings go, but the events that we had, they were good. That's a good and positive, and hopefully we can get back to those days. But my own personal feelings, and in part that's why I didn't participate in the Marcus Garvey Day celebration in August. It's still a little too soon, and hopefully next time or next year it'll be much better. Yeah.
Thank you, Attorney Imhotep. But yeah, that's been the
How do you
issue.
feel about the Kwanzaa celebration then? Should we celebrate Kwanzaa? How do you feel about that?
I would, yeah, well, go ahead, Attorney Imhotep. I'm not going to speak for you.
Maybe he didn't understand the question.
Attorney Imhotep. Well, I would assume.
Forgive me, I stepped away. What was the question?
How do you feel about a Kwanzaa celebration then?
Forgive me, say it one more time.
How do you feel about our celebrating Kwanzaa some kind of way?
Yeah, that we're still in the pandemic, and it just was brought to my thinking here. If we were to meet for Kwanzaa or any other event here coming up, how would you assure that people have been vaccinated or not? And the question of wearing masks, that would have to be hashed out. But yeah, I can see the concern of whether you're vaccinated or not, and you have this mixture here. So yeah, that's the part of the concern. And yeah, I guess we need to answer those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Attorney Imhotep. So yeah, like I said, this is a delicate situation. We got to be careful about how we, carry ourselves through it. In regards to what Attorney Imhotep was saying, how do we protect our members? One, for vaccination, that's a personal choice that we say that we don't have any requirement or recommendation. In regards to meeting in our facilities, what we have implemented with our Black Cross nurses is we we've been bringing hand sanitizer to all of our events, as well as gloves for our members or anyone that's working. And we are also giving masks for free to anyone at the event, and encouraging the wearing of masks, while also trying to make sure we establish some level of distancing. We're not right on top of each other, but just to state, we are aware. We don't think that it's imaginary or people are making things up. We are taking it serious, but again, we're trying to find the ways to keep moving and continue that level of family, through these in-person meetings. You want to say something? So it's a battle. It's a back and forth. And last thing, what I was gonna say. So we used to meet in person. When I first joined Division 421, 2018, I think they had recently started meeting in person around that time when I joined. And when I first came to a meeting, there were probably 10 people, and I would come not every meeting, but probably once a month I would be there. But over a 6-month time, it turned out to just be 3 or 4 people. And we were meeting at Brother Curtis's place, Tech Culture Sound. It was suitable for what we were trying to do. But at any rate, there weren't a lot of people. The attendance diminished, but the expectation for contribution stayed the same. So it became a detriment financially to the organization. And that's why we went 100% to Zoom. Now conference line first, and then we implemented Zoom later on, which was the improvement of the conference lines. But that's why we are where we are today in regards to meeting in person. Like I said, even when I mentioned the Ancestors event, and all the events, I love it. I love the idea. We just have to make them. We can't keep having negative financial events. Those are parties. We can't just keep doing that. We're not. We've done a good job over the last few years. President Ross has done a great job, since the establishment of the organization, to make us financially secure. So right now we have a policy where we try to keep at least $1,000 in the bank account. A couple years ago, we weren't, we were struggling just to keep $500. So, we just got to think long term and make sure that when we do things that it's beneficial. Even though some of the things that we do charity wise will be a negative and it'll be expected to be a negative, but if we're talking about having events every month or every other month, we can't have continuous negative events. Not negative like energy, but financially negative. You know what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So we'll see if we have a Kwanzaa. We'll just investigate to see what's happening in the community and see if we want to be a part of it.
Let me.
Or if we want.
Okay, but yeah, while you, only a few people on. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull up our PayPal really quick, just to share where we are.
What are you pulling up?
A PayPal, a bank account.
Oh.
So, because like I said, by the end of the year, we want to have a goal. This year, the goal is $1,000 in the account at the end of the year. Next year, it should be $5,000 or $10,000 in the account at the end of the year.
That's if we get those 500 people and we start having some other type of meetings other than this, what we're doing now, I think.
What I think it is.
What are you figuring out?
Hold on. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just share. Right now we got $178 in the PayPal, but we transferred $461 to our bank account in September. And I think that was right before we paid out. Yeah, so we had paid our dues that we owed to the parent body. We had owed $520 for this year. And we have remaining, I think it's like $600 in the account right now. Well, $600 in the Cashapp plus the, what I just said, $173. So almost $800 is where we are right now. And we still have to pay out November and December's financial reports. We still got 2 financial reports to pay out, which is about $200. So I think at the end of this year, we'll probably end with probably about $800 in the account. So I'll be able to charge.
Well, that just says for our next year, then we just have to plan, not only plan our meetings, but we have to plan on our